Hi, welcome to my channel, Soul's Journey. Welcome back to people who have been around for a little while, and welcome especially to the new subscribers. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. You can just hit the little SJ thing down here in the corner that works for a subscribe button. Thanks for stopping by. And I wanted to talk today about something that's been on my mind for a little while, and that is the commercialization of paganism. And I'm kind of disheartened by all the merchandising and the marketing that is going on towards pagans right now, with all these witchy subscription boxes and whatnot. And I'm sorry, I've got notes in front of me here that I'm reading from so that I don't forget things that points that I wanted to make. A lot of these subscription boxes are just really expensive, and a lot of pagans are not able to afford them. And I've seen several YouTubers recently talking about how broke they are. And, I'm worried that new people to the craft or to paganism are going to become discouraged because they can't afford these things and feel like they're not authentic enough and they don't have all the right tools and toys and whatnot. And it really, you shouldn't have to go broke doing this. You don't have to be able to afford all the super fancy stuff that other people are buying. And frankly, I'm afraid the craft is becoming so commercialized that Hallmark's going to launch a line of cards directed to us, and it's going to turn into a gift giving occasion, and all the different Sabbats. And I don't want to see it go that way. I guess I don't really want the craft to become that mainstream. I feel like it's losing a lot of the mystery and the sacredness that are inherent in a path like this. It's not that I'm advocating for a return to the burning times when, everybody was in the closet and anybody could be accused of being a witch and, you risked your life. But I don't want to see it so normalized that we're constantly being marketed to. And I know it's more than just these little subscription boxes. There was some makeup company, or the Olsen twins were selling spell kits or witchy stuff or something for a while. And it makes me a little bit angry that they're marketing this stuff so aggressively now. Like, you have to have, crystal grids and this incredible expensive collection of crystals. And if I think when people are very new to a path, they see something like that and they think it's a must-have, that everybody's doing it, when they're first learning. And those of us who've been around the craft for a while know that this is certainly not the case. Nothing could be further from the truth. It bothers me that people are being made to feel inadequate in some way because they don't have all this stuff. I did actually take 3 or 4 subscription boxes earlier this year because I had never done it before and I didn't know what they had. And mostly it turned out what they had was stuff I didn't need, I didn't want, and I'm never going to use. I got some duplications of things that I already have. I now have 3 sets of runes, and I don't do runes. It's just, and the ones that I was getting were, kind of mid-range. They're around the $50 price point. And I know some of them are a lot more money than that. And it's just, I think, with all these unboxings that everybody does and showing off all their pretty new crystals that they get and this and that, it's giving the impression that you have to do this kind of stuff. People are fairly impressionable, and it's easy to follow the crowd, especially on something like this when people are brand new to it and they have no idea of expectations, or they don't know which direction to go, and they're just trying to find their way. Um, you know, I'm the kind of person that I prefer to just buy my supplies as I need them. I don't tend to stock up on a lot of stuff that some people do. And it's not to say that you should never do these things, never, subscribe to these boxes. If you can afford it and you need the stuff, or even if you just want it, as long as you can afford it, that's fine. Knock yourself out. But it just seems like there's so much of it now. And, you know, subscription boxes in general are so trendy. And this was something I hadn't even heard of until like a year or so ago. I didn't even know these things existed. And, they have them for all kinds of stuff, makeup and craft kits and just health foods. And it's just always something to sell, sell, sell. And I just think we're kind of losing our way with all this stuff. Um, yeah, it was kind of funny that the last subscription box that I got was from a company that, as I was unboxing it and reading through the stuff, they had a note in there that this was their last box, that they were shutting down. They weren't going to be doing them anymore. And I think they even closed their online shop. So, it was kind of a sign unto me. And I had been pretty unhappy with the ones that I had gotten anyway. So I had like canceled after taking a couple from one company. And I tried this other one a couple of times, and I got a couple of kind of cool things, but not enough to justify that kind of money. But I think it's important to remember that the craft and paganism are not about gewgaws and baubles and fancy altars. You can do very tiny, simple little altars, get some, if you want to change with the seasons, you can change, put some fresh flowers or some cuttings from, maybe a holly tree for Yule or something. I've got tons of holly in my yard if anybody needs some. And it just, you don't have to keep collecting stuff and getting the expensive statues and making everything bigger and, more fantastic every time. The craft is an experiential mystery religion, and it's more about what you do. And I think we're kind of getting lost in all this stuff. And another thing, I just feel like with all the pretty little trinkets and toys that people are getting, that it may be attracting people, and this is not entirely a bad thing, but I think it's drawing in a lot of people to the craft who are going to dabble for a little while, and then, they like to play at being witchy or whatever, and they have no real dedication to the path. It's just, and I guess that's fine if that's what they want to do, but there have been several lately YouTubers who have gone back to Christianity, and Godspeed to them. No pun intended. Everybody's got to do what's right for them, but I think it's, everybody likes the idea of being a witch and playing with spells and having powers and that sort of thing, and that's just not what it's about. I came out of Catholicism many years ago, and it took me a really long time to undo the programming. And I kind of went back and forth for a little while, and I even, believe it or not, had a sort of born again phase. I got sucked into that for a little while, and I finally had enough, and I came back to the craft. And I've been a witch most of my life, much to the dismay of the Catholic priest the last one who confessed me, who said he was surprised God didn't strike me down dead. Um, so, yeah, I'm just definitely not going back to that. But I just want to say if you are someone who is new to the craft and you're watching the popular YouTube channels, people that are showcasing all their shiny toys and their special this and that, you don't have to have any of that. If you get those little tiny candles, if you want to have a small altar, like I got these little candle holders, you can get these for like next to nothing. I did find these, I don't know if you can see, it's got the little pentacle on the front. I've got one in white or one like clear crystal and one in black. You can get little tiny things like that. You don't have to have a big fancy spread. And as far as, what to do, I mean, just the craft is basically, it's a nature thing. We try to be in tune with the rhythms of nature, and the best things that I think you can do is just go for a walk. Just be outside, get in touch with nature. Go sit under your favorite tree. If you want, leave a little offering. Take a little bit of some kind of food, or just, you can do all kinds of things. And if you're in the city, there are still things you can do. If you can't get out to nature, you can, watch the birds, track the phases of the moon, listen to the wind, meditate, practice visualizations. It's more about the doing than the having is my point. Witches in the old days didn't have New Age stores to run to. They didn't have subscription boxes. They made do with what they had on hand. And it was pretty simple. And I think we've complicated things and really cluttered it up. And it's not supposed to be like that. Like I said, you can if you want, if you can afford it, but I know a lot of people out there cannot. And that's what bothers me, is that they're seeing everybody else opening their fabulous little subscription boxes every month, watching these, unboxings on YouTube and whatnot. And it's, it doesn't make that person who got the box any more of a witch than the person who didn't. Like Shamanic Arawak Priestess, and I'll put the link to her channel down below. She does dollar store hauls all the time. She goes and gets all her supplies at the dollar store. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg to do this. So, yeah, I mean, you can certainly get a lot of your stuff in the New Age and witchy stores, which, obviously I did with this little thing. I've got some silver and gold candles and these little tiny candle holders. They come from, I'm not getting paid to advertise for them, but I think it was 13 Moons that I got them from. So anyway, yeah, that's just kind of my little thing for today. Just wanted to kind of get that out there because it's just been on my mind and it's just been kind of bothering me. So kind of one last thought. My craft mentor used to have a saying that if you know what you're doing, you should be able to cast riding a bicycle in traffic. So it's not about your fancy crystal grids and your pendulum boards and all this other stuff, which are fun to have if you can afford them, but you do not need them. Make do with what you have, get creative, and that's what this is really all about. So anyway, good luck to everyone, and thanks for watching and listening. And again, please like and subscribe down here somewhere in the corner. I can't do this backwards. So anyway, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Blessed be.